and I got lost a lot of times.
If you want to even set up a virtual viewing, we need a deposit from you, and that's how they tried to scam.
I actually had a couple of days of extreme heat, so much so that the heat was making me dizzy at one point.
And these are things that we don't realize coming in the first week, that life is gonna get chaotic.
You know what they say, desperate times call for.
Two immigrants trying to survive week one in a whole new country.
From university chaos to student orientation, apartment hunts, and setting up a new bank account.
We were clueless, overwhelmed, and learning things the hard way.
If you've been there or you're there, this one's for you.
This is Desperate Times. Okay, guys, so we've decided to change things up a little bit this episode onwards. First of all, welcome back. I am your host, Varun.
And I'm Sakshi.
And this episode, we're gonna, as I said, take things a little more non-linear, just as the intro of this episode was definitely not the most linear. But we're gonna now jump to things that we find more interesting. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the 7 to 8 year timeline that you were stuck in so far with us. We're gonna now get into some things that are a little more recent and a few more desperate times that we know that people face, and we know that even we faced about 2.5 years ago. And here's how it kind of went. Uh, I think Sakshi and I don't think, I know Sakshi and I have both moved from Mumbai to Canada about in fall of 2022. And moving here to a new city, there are a lot of things that you have to look into right in the first week. So this episode is going to be all about that. Sakshi, do you want to tell us a little about what your first week was like? How did you get here? What was that like? What were the things that you were faced with?
Oh, that's a very, very big answer. So I'm gonna start with
Yeah,
a
it's
little
broad.
bit.
It's broad. It's broad. Start where you like.
I'm gonna start with a little bit here and there. So my first week was actually
Yeah.
different, or rather similar to a lot of immigrants who've come. So I came to Toronto as an international student
Mm-hmm.
before my semester began, just because we had to look for like a place to live and figure out like a part-time job because you got to survive.
Yep.
But the first priority was obviously a place to live. I was lucky enough that I had some friends here, so I was like they were gracious enough to host me for like a couple of days a week while I get settled, look for a new place. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but where
Had you started apartment hunting before you got here?
I had, but it like a lot of these places look like scams, and they still do even if you're in the country.
Yep.
It's just that
Yep.
while you're in the country you're able to go and physically look at this place so you know it's real, but looking online,
Oh,
like, you
100%.
don't know what to trust. So that was the thing, and because I had friends already who were here, they said, you know what, it's fine, just come here a few days before and then you can see for yourself, like with your own eyes. So I said, okay, yeah, that sounds like a better idea, because that's what these people had
Mm-hmm.
also done. Very few people are actually lucky to find like genuine people or
Oh,
accommodations
yeah.
or apartments before they come to the country. But
Yep.
I had to look. Yeah, so I had so many showings set up, and besides that, there was also setting up bank accounts. Because I mean, till you've
Mm-hmm.
not set up your bank accounts, like your funds are not released to you, so you need funds to like
Yep.
move around, right? Like buy food or the transport. And the transport is another big part because it's so different. And I was in Toronto, but Varun, you were in Montreal, so how was that like?
I mean, in some ways, it was a little similar. Thankfully for me, I didn't have to go through the whole apartment hunting situation that you
Mm,
did. I did do a bunch of apartment hunting remotely, sitting from India,
nice.
but I was lucky that I was in a situation where I had one of my then roommates who landed a little before me, so
Mm.
he got to do like all the on ground running around. But even while we were doing that, and before he even flew here, I think one struggle that most people have in one of these desperate times situations, so to say, is when you're looking for apartments completely remotely, it's not safe at all. There are so many people
Mm.
dude who reached out who we reached out to, who were like asking for these deposits
Oh yeah.
beforehand, before even sending you photos or
Yeah.
videos of
Mm-hmm.
what you're signing up for. They're like, hey, if you want to even set up a virtual viewing, we need a deposit from you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how they tried to scam a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Yeah.
So we kind of took the call on like, hey, let's not set up anything at least until one of us is there.
Mm-hmm.
My visa situation was just a whole different ball game, man. And then passport stamping took way too long, so I couldn't make it here in time for my first scheduled first week that was supposed to happen. But yeah, the apartment viewing, thankfully, we found something as soon as one of us was here. But even while he was here, I know, and this is something that's common for a lot of people, is just people come here, they get an Airbnb for about a week, week and a half to kind of
Mm-hmm.
go about that process. So I'm glad you were lucky that way,
Yeah,
that you just had
yeah.
friends that you could go to.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, I had booked an Airbnb, but then when I spoke to that friend, he's like, "Oh, why have you booked? Like, just cancel that and stay over at my place till you figure out your own place." So I was lucky and thankful for that friend who let me
Mm-hmm.
crash at his place. But the transport bit of things when you're going to these viewings, right? Like, you have to figure out the
Yeah.
transport. So both of those combined is like a learning experience. First of all, it's a whole new country, a whole new city across oceans. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a little challenged when it comes to looking at Google Maps, and I got lost a lot of times. So much so that I'm like, which way am I? So I have to like turn directions, like which way am I pointing, and then I'm looking in the arrow.
I still struggle. I still struggle with that. Even now, when I'm walking on the street, sometimes if I don't know a street, I'm like, okay, wait, it's turning left, and then I start walking like 50 feet in that
Oh
direction. I'm like, oh
gosh.
wait, wrong direction, turn around, go the
You've just
other way.
walked in wrong direction, right? It's happened with me a couple of
Yeah.
times in my first week where I went in the streetcar. Like, Toronto has streetcars, so I went in the
Mm-hmm.
streetcar in the wrong direction, and I'm like, wait, this is not the next stop. It's saying something else. Did I go in the wrong direction? Then I've gotten off and then like crossed the street and then gone in the right
That's the
direction.
worst.
So that
That's
has
the worst,
happened a
dude. When you're
couple
when
of
you're on a
times.
transport and you can't get off.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, this is not the next stop. What do I do now? So
Yeah.
that happened, but also these listings, these apartments that you see, they, some of them are just not what they are in the pictures, because God
Not at
knows how
all.
long ago those pictures were taken. And like back when we came, I think the real estate here has been climbing. Now it's starting to decline, but back when we came, everything was kind of at the height of the prices. And coming in as international students where you don't even have like a part-time job yet, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, what are these prices? Like, how am I gonna pay? How am I gonna survive? And I mean,
You're,
it's
you're
the
lucky for
first
you that
week.
it's declining. You're lucky for you that it's declining in Toronto right now, because Montreal rates are still through
Oh
the roof. They've
really?
only gone up year after year. Yep.
Wow.
We've not had that
Oh yeah,
fortune yet of
that's not good.
having prices fall.
No, I think we had a long
But
time
yeah.
coming, so glad it's coming down. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the first week is just so many different things thrown at you. Oh, and don't forget the jet lag. I mean,
Uh,
that too.
I I was lucky too. I didn't have like a situation where I had to deal with the jet lag, because I was thrown into it. I
Yeah.
came here and immediately I was actually supposed to have class the day I landed here, and I
Mm.
didn't go to that class because my flight landed 2 hours after my first class. So I had
Oh,
to start classes immediately the next morning. I think I landed at maybe 5 p.m. and next morning 8 a.m. I had class. So jet lag was not an option for me, unfortunately.
I feel like I forced my body out of jet lag just because my flight was landing at 5 a.m. So I slept, tried to sleep like at least some 7, 8 hours, and then landed. And then I was just
Mm-hmm.
like all go that day. And in fact, the CNE, which is the Canadian National Exhibition here in Toronto, was happening after 2 years of the pandemic for the first time that year.
Uh,
So I decided to go for that too. And I think my food, like my mealtime were a little thrown off because of the like the whole jet lag thing. But
of course.
I was awake that day, slept at like a regular 11, 12 at night, and then woke up the next day. I think was at 4 or 5 a.m. again. So it wasn't that
Mm.
bad, but my meals were affected essentially. If that's like jet lag, I guess that is all I had.
Yeah, and there's apart from just like wanting to explore the city, because coming to a new place, coming to a new country, you want to kind of immediately kind of go see
Mm-hmm.
everything, as most of us I feel like we did. But there's so much admin stuff to
Oh
handle
gosh.
just when you get in. So much admin stuff. Especially, I think most people end up getting to get their SIN number pretty much within 24 hours of landing. Was that same for you? I know I immediately had to, like the day I had class, after class, I rushed to get my SIN number.
I think it was either SIN or bank account because you needed one for the other. I can't remember which one what. Like you needed
Yeah,
one
that's what
first.
even I was trying to think before we started filming, which one did I get first. I know there was one
Yeah,
needed for the other. Even I
correct.
don't remember now if it was specifically the bank account or SIN, but
Correct.
both of them need to kind of work
Yeah,
at the same time, which is a lot.
correct. So I did that in the first week itself. And then also I was apartment hunting, so I didn't even like concentrate on on part-time jobs. But I would just look at
Mm-hmm.
them passively, like if I'm passing a store or, you know, um but it took me a while to land that too, because the apartment as well seemed overwhelming. You're looking at
Hmm.
three, four
Yeah.
apartments in a day, going in all these different corners of the city, which I had no idea about. Asking these friends like, "Oh, do you think this area is nice? Do you think that area is nice?"
And there's
Um,
so much of that. Also, because I think when we came, there was a little more crime. I think we were lucky that crime and gun violence and all was reduced a little after we came. There were stricter laws ever made. But I remember, and before landing, there was so much stuff on social media being like, there's crime in this area, crime in that area, stay away from this one. There's a gun, there's some violence that's happened
mm.
here. At least I, even from a Montreal point of view, I had to like really look into things like, okay, this area is safe right now, this is not safe, and all of that.
But also, I feel like a lot of it again is blown out of proportion, because it's one thing seeing what you get on social media or news, and then one thing being on
Yeah,
ground and seeing it. Like, people are very like, oh my god, downtown Toronto, no, 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 it's not safe, it's not safe. Like, yes, there are
yeah.
some neighborhoods or some sections of downtown Toronto that are not safe, and I try to actively
Mm-hmm.
avoid them as well. Like, I'll try to bypass that corner or that intersection. But
Mm-hmm.
that does not mean the whole of downtown Toronto is not safe. So that's the other
For
thing,
sure.
right? Like, perspectives and opinions and perceptions, and how much of it are you taking in, how much of it are you ignoring. It's a lot of things.
Talking about perceptions, do you remember I lived right by a strip club?
Oh, above a strip club,
Like,
if I remember correctly, was it?
no. It wasn't above. We shared the
Oh,
wall
right.
with
Yes,
the strip
yes.
club.
I do
So it
remember.
was right. It was right next to it, and this was again downtown Montreal, living right by a strip club before getting to the country, and just the idea and thought of it was pretty funny on the
Hmm.
face of it. Like I didn't even know if I'll be able to tell my family that I'm living right next to a strip club because it just brings up all sorts of perceptions in people's heads.
Yeah.
But honestly, I will say not bad. Like there was no disturbances that we had. The alleyway that we had by the strip club over there was terrible,
Hmm.
filled with mice. As most a lot of downtown places are not the cleanest places because of
Mm-hmm.
just the influx of population every single or influx of people every single week. But living was not bad in a downtown area, even though cheap rent. We really lucked out on the rent, but living right next to a strip club was funny on the face of it. It was a good story to tell, and that's why I'm bringing this up again. But it was not bad, not bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? With downtown, everything is so accessible and nearby. So also
Oh
apartment
yeah,
hunting, it's like, okay, how far is this from my campus? Like, how much time is it gonna take me? Like, time over money or money over time?
yeah.
Like, those kind of
I was
decisions.
5 minutes. I was just 5 minutes walking from my campus. Super convenient.
Oh wow, that's great. And for me too, I don't think I was very far. I was like a little off downtown, and the situation that, like, I what we found was that there was this townhouse, and there was this couple who rented out like the top floor of their townhouse, and then we obviously had a shared
Mm-hmm.
kitchen. But those people were lovely. They actually taught us a lot of Canadian traditions. They did
Oh,
like a whole Thanksgiving feast and Christmas feast, because we never got to experience that sort of thing. And they had two dogs,
sweet.
so I mean, I couldn't be happier.
Oh. And I mean, as two people coming from like a lifestyle having dogs, that's obviously I'm sure a lot better,
Hold on,
right?
I'm gonna show this. This is gonna be upside down, maybe.
Audio listeners, you're losing out.
Yeah, this is a tattoo that I'm showing of my dog, guys, on my arm. For audio listeners, just for some background. So yeah, that was really good having that house. But again, that took so much time, because I've seen some shady places. Shady places, like there was one in the middle of downtown, but
Mm-hmm.
the house could look like it could be haunted. As soon as you entered, on the inside of the door, it said, "What? Do not leave without locking, or like lock the door behind you," or something like that.
Ah, okay.
And the bathroom was actually like in a very dimly lit basement, which again felt very wet and dark. And I was like, where am I? And
And basement life is not something we're used to at all.
no, not at all. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not staying in a basement so far in like Toronto either, just because I need the sun. I am like a
Yep.
plant. I cannot do without the sun. Um, so yeah, we weren't looking at basements either. So that place was dingy, and then that note at the back of that door, just like red flag, like major red
Mm.
flag. So I'm like, okay, while the rent was cheap, I don't think I want to
Mm-hmm.
compromise on my safety.
Yeah, no, fair.
So there was a lot of places like that. I can't even remember some of
But
these places.
talking about sunlight though, wasn't it good that we came here in fall? At least it was not as much of a weather switch. It was like maybe what, 15, 20 degrees when we got here in Celsius?
For me, it was warmer actually. I think you came a
It
little
was warmer.
later. Yeah, because I came
Ah,
late
right.
summer, mid August. So I
Mm,
actually had a couple of days of extreme heat, so much so that the heat was making me dizzy at one point. Because I mean, yes, Mumbai gets hotter, but then the sun here is
yeah.
more direct, which we're not used to. Uh,
Also, guys, no fans.
oh yeah, only
No
AC.
fans. That culture is it was tough to kind of adapt to. You had AC? Wait,
Yeah,
did you?
yeah.
I had no AC. I was dying.
Oh
I
my
think
god.
sure when I came it was 15, 20 degrees, but I think a week after that, somewhere mid September, there was some heat wave that
Oh my
we
god.
faced. And I think I was at like almost 27, 28 degrees. I wasn't even like putting my duvet or my blanket on myself. I was just sleeping because I'm not used to any fan, had not yet gone and bought myself a fan because there's so much
Oh
more stuff to deal with.
yeah.
Even things and talking about more stuff to deal with, even I think another admin thing that we had to do was I think phone numbers to immediately get. Did you already get yours before you came here, or did you get here and then
No, so
come?
I got mine at the airport. Like as soon as I landed, like when
Ah,
you get out of the airport, near arrivals, like you have all these different phone providers because they know a lot of people, a lot of immigrants come on a daily
mm-hmm,
basis. So that's like the best place for them to be to get people
mm.
enrolled in their service. So I got it right at the airport, but it takes like a couple of hours to activate. So yeah, I didn't have to worry about that at least.
But no, I think I landed up not getting it from the airport service because some people there's like always different people, different opinion that you get, and I was told that the ones at the airport might be more expensive than the ones when you go and get in store. You might get a better package, a better deal, and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. So I think I'll ended up getting mine more in directly at a store,
Okay.
but data was just so expensive, and it still is.
Mm-hmm. Compared to
So
India, I guess, yeah.
yeah, I mean, India was just used to extremely cheap data thanks to some big kingpins who decided to give us a lot of cheap data.
I think it's also because in India we had so many options of like service providers for
Yeah,
our plans, like our phone plans, and even banks. That when you came here, there's only like a couple of them, like five of them, and even then they share
yeah,
like a parent brand. So automatically, like there's this, um, a power dynamic that okay, you take it
yeah.
or
It's a
leave it.
monopoly.
Sort of. I think there's a different word for it. But you take it or leave it. It's like that. Like the banks, the fees that they charge, like it's unreal. Does not make any sense, but you have to pay it, right? Because there's no other option. Same way
Yeah,
with their phone services, because there are only those options, and they know what the other competitor has priced, so they'll be pretty competitive. So it won't make a whole lot of difference to you in a way.
but yeah, even getting the phone started and like going those 1 or 2 days without any service
Mm,
provider for me, I was just like
yeah,
making sure that I'm constantly in a Wi-Fi zone somehow
that
to
makes sense.
have any sort of connectivity.
Yeah,
But as I said, campus and home was like 5 minutes away, so it didn't bother me all that much.
yeah, only a couple of days though, so I suppose that's okay.
Did you have your orientation? I got here late. I wasn't even here for my own
I
orientation.
did. So our campus day, they called it, was a week before classes actually began, and
Uh,
got a lot of freebies, a lot of merch, college merch. I think I still have some like t-shirts, bottles, pens. Um, what is it? Wet wipes, masks, because it was still like the end of the pandemic, sort of 2022.
uh,
Sanitizers. What else do we have? There was more sharpeners, pencils, stationery basically.
mm-hmm.
A lot of good food that day because campus day, like there were desks where you could go and talk to like different clubs, different services that the college had to offer, get to know more. I think there was a campus tour as well, which was pretty fun because I never got to experience that before. Um,
I missed everything.
yeah, I know a lot of people did just because of this visa stamping issues. Like I know a lot of people directly who missed all of
Hmm.
that. But the good thing about all of those campus days is that even if you go on any random campus day just to experience what it is, no one is really asking
Hmm.
you, oh, are you enrolled in this batch or show me the proof? Or
Fair.
so, I mean, just a quick tip here, if you do end up missing your campus day, maybe try going to some other campus day the next semester or something. I mean, just to get that experience. No one's going to stop you.
I missed out on everything. As I said, I was directly put into second. second day of school as soon as I landed, and I was so lost on campus.
Mm.
I was so lost. Like it took me a good, I think 5 to 7 minutes to just figure out where my class was because I had no idea. None of these campus tours, nothing at all.
Mm.
Just directly walking into the university for the first time, being like, where am I? What am I doing? I have no idea.
Listen though, like even with these campus tours, I got lost. Like a lot of people got lost, and the professors in the first couple of weeks, they're very understanding that it is easy to get lost even with that campus tour. Because how much are you gonna retain in that 5 minutes of
Hmm.
10 minutes of that tour, right? So,
True.
I mean, I don't think it helped all that much. If that makes you feel better, I still got lost.
What makes me actually feel better though is that the part-time job that I had was I landed
Mm,
something on campus itself in social media.
yeah.
So cut to and through this job, one I got very lucky that I had it before I even landed in the country. I think you were initially talking about like the struggles of actually
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
finding
Yep.
a part-time job when you get here, which is a shared experience for a lot of immigrants who
Mm-hmm.
land up here, student or not student,
Yeah.
because you need something to get the bills paid. But because I had my part time job on campus, which was more of a social media role that required me to film around campus, I think by the end of 2 years of university, I was the one who could like guide everyone
Mm, that's
around.
nice.
So it was a fun trajectory to go from like I have no idea where I am to now seeing other
Yeah.
students who have no idea where they are, and then
Guiding
guiding them
them.
just because of the part time job that you had that enabled you to
Yeah.
do all of that.
Yeah.
How did
That's
you land your
great.
part time job?
Um, Walk-ins. Honestly, I did so many walk-ins. Like I have walked into restaurants, I walked into retail stores, and I applied online. I already got a part-time job, but it wasn't giving me as many hours. This was a
Hmm.
hostess at a restaurant. Um, and I didn't really like the owner of that restaurant. I didn't get good vibes from him, and it wasn't just me. It was a lot of
Hmm.
staff that felt that way too. So I didn't work there for even a month, and then I found this other one, which was
Ah.
retail, a big, big, big retail brand. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I worked there, and it's funny because I applied online, I left my resume, nothing. Then I walked in again, left my resume. They said, okay, come for a interview, and it's really about which person is taking your resume from like the
Right.
management team on that store or whatever place that is, because that person
Mm-hmm.
is deciding whether you're getting the interview or not. And there's something called seasonal
Oh.
associates here in Canada and a lot of Western countries, where seasonal is basically the time from like pre-Christmas to post-Christmas. Like that's the busiest
Okay.
time for retail stores. And I was one of the seasonal hires, which meant that I had like a small contract for those Christmas
That's what I was
months.
gonna ask. You had a contract, I'm guessing.
Correct. So that was till January, and then they would tell us then whether we were permanent or not, whether they were keeping us like as
Ah.
part-time staff. Luckily, I got through, but the season was tough because retail, you're standing all the time. You get breaks, yes, but it's chaotic because everyone wants to shop. The malls are
Mm-hmm.
busy, and this is again a big brand. um,
Yep.
so while I was grateful for the hours, sometimes I really think, how did I do my assignments? How did I do attending classes with this part-time job and then still being able to like cook food, have a social life? I'm like, how did I do all that?
Yeah, there's just so much. And these are things that we don't realize coming in the
Mm-mm.
first week that life is gonna get chaotic because you're
Yeah.
just not, you just have no idea what you're landing yourself into. And I came to a city like Montreal where I literally knew nobody. I only knew the one roommate who had found that apartment, maybe another because we had spoken a little before getting here. But I knew nobody on day one, and it can feel a little like you
Yeah.
can feel a little lost in terms of where you are,
Yeah.
and it takes a little bit to find that sense of belonging, which I have now.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, it was just don't know what you're doing at all. I had all of you guys, everyone I know, half of the people, everyone just in Toronto.
Mm,
So
yeah.
I was just completely secluded from all of that,
Mm-hmm.
figuring all of my things just by myself for a new city.
And the other thing is that even though, yes, you have your parents back home, because of the time difference, right now it's
Yeah.
night over there. So it's not like you can just call them and, they can be there to support you. That, yes, they're there, but
Mm-hmm.
the timing, it's a difficult thing to figure out initially because they don't know
Mm-hmm.
what time zone you're in. You sort of are more aware than your parents. I want to say, at least that was my case. Um,
Sure.
because I had my parents randomly call me in the middle of the night too. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I still get that. I still get that.
Yeah, so I mean, even though they're there, it's still isolating in a way that you can't really reach out to them at that point because of the time zone difference. Um,
Hmm.
and people think like, okay, yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but trust me, the time zone difference, it's quite a lot. It impacts a lot of things.
I think another thing I experienced in the first week was, as I said, it was an isolating situation. I didn't know any of you guys. All my friends were in another city whilst in the same country. So I think I also had to go through that entire experience of making friends at university or just making friends in the city for the first time. And I feel like some of my closest friends are the ones that I made in the first week of getting to Canada. There's so much more we can share about this. It requires a whole episode of its own, which I
Yes,
think we will do it.
of
It's
course.
due diligence soon.
Definitely. And like Varun said, we'll do an episode, and there's so many things to talk about. If you all feel like there's some things that we can shed light on that
Hmm.
in terms of our Canada life, or if you all have any questions that you all want us to answer, definitely
Hmm.
drop them in the comments or DM us, and we'll be sure to talk more about that.
But I guess that's it for this episode, guys. We will see y'all next week. Before we go, please like, share, subscribe, follow everything, guys. We don't want to have y'all miss out on any content that we put out here. But we will see y'all soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. कट किया कि नहीं किया भाई? नहीं किया।